ex-police officer charged in the shooting that ended up touching off the violence in Sherman Park. What's going on?
The DA kind of quietly announced the decision this morning just in a email. It said that basically he's being charged with reckless homicide in this case. This was from back in August, touched off the violent protests in Sherman Park. It sounds like that the Sylville Smith was being chased. He was shot twice. However, it sounded, back in August, it sounded more of a self-defense, that the young man who was killed, Mr. Smith, was armed. In this case, it sounds like now they're saying body camera footage shows that he was actually throwing his gun over a fence when he was shot. Well, the first time he was shot, he was throwing over a fence.
Yeah, I think the original
Second
story
time
said
he was
something
not,
about
that he was turning armed.
Yeah.
It sounds like he did turn towards the officers as he was armed, but as he was shot the first time in the arm, was actually throwing the gun over a fence, and then was shot again a second time unarmed. And it sounds like the officer had said that he believed he was reaching for his waistband, which could indicate he had maybe another weapon. He obviously did not have another weapon, and he, basically if you shoot an unarmed man who appears to be, it sounds like he was putting his hands toward his head.
Was he on the ground?
He had slipped, gotten up, turned, threw the weapon, fell or rolled the second time. So yes, he was on the ground as he
and the
was
officer
shot
is Dominique Heaggan-Brown, we might add, who was an ex-police officer because he was charged in a rape case.
From right after the
soon
incident.
after that.
Yeah, so he's obviously got some legal challenges ahead, and he will be, facing some pretty serious charges.
And so, Dan, this is pretty unusual, right, for Chisholm or any DA in Milwaukee County to charge an officer?
Yeah, it's incredibly rare, either for Chisholm or for his predecessor, Mike McCann, to charge anybody. So, first of all, it's interesting how they made the announcement, that there was no press conference or announcement. I had several thoughts. One, to go back to the day when this was told, and the officials, Mayor Barrett and others who had seen the video or said that they had seen the video, suggested that it was probably done for good reason. The shooting was, and now we're getting a very different story. So, when we have
I think they actually saw a screen grab from the video of him turning towards the officer's arm. So I guess it's a question of, were they given limited evidence that would have led them to the wrong conclusion? It's hard to say exactly what happened.
Obviously, it was in their interest to try to quell the riots that were going on and the backlash that was happening then, but at the same time, we didn't get a very accurate portrayal of what actually happened at that time. Just a reminder, we should be skeptical when people are first telling us what actually happens in these incidents. And then secondly, it's very hard to get a jury to convict an officer in a case like this, as we've seen in a few incidents in the past. And it makes me wonder if the earlier charge against him will make this, is made him a less, likable individual, and make it more likely to file charges against him in this case.